Hey Helldivers, it's SaucySurg. After the recent failure to liberate Cyberstan for democracy, it's time we step up our game. Today I'm breaking down my top 10 stratagems that I recommend using against the Automatons. Now remember, this is just my personal top 10. There are plenty of other powerful stratagems out there that are just as good and maybe even better. But if we cover every viable option, this would be a 3-hour documentary. So if I miss one of your favorites, drop your top 10 in the comments. I'll be reading through them, and if I like your list, I'll drop a like from me. If you enjoy Helldivers content like this, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. It seriously helps the channel more than you know. Without further ado, Helldivers, let's dive in. Now, kicking off the list at number 10, we've got the anti-tank emplacement. This powerful manned gun turret is capable of deleting armored targets from insane distances. If you don't know what this thing is yet, I call it the lazy boy of Helldivers. You literally sit down in a chair and start launching anti-tank rounds from across the map with almost no effort. As long as you've got a strong vantage point, this thing can absolutely dismantle the Automatons. We're talking about Hulks, Factory Striders, Fabricators, Bulk Fabricators, even dropships. It punches straight through everything. And I mean everything. The anti-tank emplacement excels at wiping out fortified bases. You can genuinely clear out an entire outpost by yourself, just sitting there firing round after round. That's exactly why I call it the lazy boy. You sit, aim, and you delete anything. Anything between you and the target, it's gone. Now, just because it's sitting at number 10, don't think it's bad. Every stratagem on this list is phenomenal against the Automatons. The only reason this lands lower is the mobility. It's a stationary emplacement. If the terrain doesn't give you high ground or the map forces you to move constantly, it can feel a little lackluster. But getting the right positioning, this thing is an absolute monster. And if you're wondering where to unlock it, you can find it in the Urban Legends Warbond on page 3. Moving down the list at number 9, we've got one of my personal favorites to just throw and forget, and that is none other than the Eagle 500 kg. Because nothing screams democracy quite like a 500 kilogram bomb turning your enemies into scrap metal. The reason I love this stratagem is it's simple. You see a problem, you throw it. Objective in the way, throw it. Hulks pushing you, throw it. Factory Strider stomping around, once again, just throw the stratagem. And then you walk away. This thing absolutely deletes whatever you tag. The explosion radius is massive. It's insanely satisfying to watch and clear space instantly. Fabricators, objectives, bot patrols in your path, they're absolutely gone. And the best part, it has a solid cooldown timer, so you're not sitting there forever to use it again. It's reliable, devastating, and it has very good value. That's why it's earned its spot at number 9. Continuing down the list at number 8, we've got the RS-422, better known as the Railgun. Now, this weapon has been on a journey. When the game first launched, this thing was absolutely one of the best weapons we had in our entire arsenal. Then it got hit with the nerf hammer hard, and now it's made a solid comeback and found its way back into glory. And the reason I love the Railgun so much is simple: versatility. When you switch it to the unsafe mode, this thing hips like an absolute truck. You can charge it up right to the brink for maximum damage. Just don't get greedy and overcharge it because it's going to explode instead. So it's kind of like a high risk, high reward situation. A fully charged shot to a Hulk's eye can one-shot it, or the back of the heatsink is gone. Mortar emplacements, tank emplacements, as long as you're hitting that heatsink, it should excel phenomenally. The Railgun excels at range. There's basically no drop-off. You can pick apart heavier targets from a safe distance. It's especially strong against tankier enemies like the Hulks, and during those brutal Hulk surges on Automaton planets. Now, where the Railgun struggles a little bit is against the absolute heavyweights. We're talking about Factory Striders, War Striders, massive targets like that. It can take multiple fully charged shots, and sometimes I'd rather swap to something more specialized for those situations. But even with that limitation, the Railgun still has a sweet spot in my heart. It's precise, powerful, and in the right hands, it's absolutely devastating. That's why it earns its spot at number 8. Making our way to number 7, we've got the Leveler, also known as an expendable nuke on your shoulder. One shot, then it's gone. And the more I use this thing, the more I love it. If you were there during the invasion of Cyberstan, you already know how insane this stratagem felt. This thing was an absolute monster. It had the potential to one-shot Vox units, and if it didn't, you just followed up with your Ultimatum secondary, and they were finished. But where this thing really shines is against heavy automaton armor. We're talking about tanks, Factory Striders, one shot, they're gone, Bulk Fabricators, clusters of enemies, patrols, Hulks, anything in this path is absolutely deleted. This thing is practically a shoulder-fired nuke. And the reason I rate it so high because how reliable it is against the bigger threats, once again like Factory Striders, can sometimes feel like a squad effort depending on what your team brought. The Leveler, one shot, almost any angle, and the Strider will come crashing down. You can fire it straight into a fortified base and wipe out multiple factories if they're grouped together. The explosion radius is massive and anything standing in front of you is not surviving. And the cooldown is surprisingly reasonable. If you're wondering where to unlock it, you can grab it at the Siegebreaker's Warbond on page 2. It is absolutely worth the pickup. If you hate letting tanks or striders walk around for more than 5 seconds, this is your answer. Now we're moving on to number 6, the Solo Silo Stratagem. Think of this as the leveler's bigger, smarter cousin, and I'm going to tell you exactly how it works. You call it down, a missile silo deploys in the ground, and you grab a remote guided laser designator. And once the missile is ready, you paint the target anywhere on the map, and I mean anywhere. This thing has practically infinite range. You can call it down on one side of the map, rotate across the battlefield, and guide that missile straight to your target. When it lands, a massive explosion like the leveler destruction, but without carrying it on your shoulder. Factory Striders, Hulks, Bulk Fabricators, War Striders, they're all cooked. It handles almost every automaton threat with ease. What I really love about this stratagem is how good it is at softening fortified positions before your team pushes in. You laser your priority target, let the missile fly, and suddenly that base is a lot quieter. Now here's the crazy part. If your ship is fully upgraded with modules, you're looking at a roughly 2-minute cooldown timer. For something that hits that hard, that's insane value, guys. It's basically having a nuclear strike sitting in your back pocket. The more I use it, the more I treat it as my third weapon. As long as you've got a solid primary and secondary, this thing becomes an answer to everything. It absolutely turns everything in your path into scrap metal. If you want to unlock it, you can find it in the Dust Devil's Warbond on page 3, and honestly, it is worth the investment. We're halfway through the list, and sitting at number 5 is my personal opinion, one of the most consistent stratagems against the automatons, the AMLS 4X Rocket Sentry. This thing is an absolute monster. It's a sentry turret that fires rocket-propelled anti-tank missiles, and if you protect it properly, it will shred heavy automaton units without hesitation. Striders, dropships, Hulks, tanks, they will all turn to scrap metal. The key with the Rocket Sentry is simple. All you have to do is protect it. If you keep the smaller bots from flanking it, the heavier units will absolutely get pummeled before they even get close to your squad. And here's why it's especially strong against the automatons. They love to stay at range, they march slowly, they fire from a distance, and they push in predictable lanes. That plays perfectly into the Rocket Sentry's strengths. It will sit there and bombard them with rockets while they're still advancing. You'll almost see this stratagem in every serious automaton loadout. No matter what the mission type, chances are someone in the team is bringing it. It absolutely dominates defense missions, it shines in eradicate missions, and if your whole team runs multiple rocket sentries, capture the flag missions become 10 times easier. I use this constantly during Cyberstan, and it carried many of my fights. That consistency, reliability is why it earned its number 5. If you're fighting automatons and not sure what to bring, you really can't go wrong with the Rocket Sentry. Coming in at number 4, we've got the Orbital Laser. This thing is an absolute beast. We're talking about a giant laser fired directly from your Super Destroyer that tracks targets and melts everything in its path. Factory Striders, vaporized. Hulks, gone. Fabricators, erased. Any automaton caught under this beam is not surviving. What makes the orbital laser so strong is how effective it is. You call it in and it does the work for you. It sweeps through fortified bases, burns down heavy armor, and clears space for your team to push objectives safely. It's incredible for softening up strongholds before an assault, and if you're getting overwhelmed during capture missions, drop the laser, it will literally carve a path through the chaos. Now yes, the cooldown is on the longer side, so you can't spam this thing. I bring it on almost every mission, no matter it's against the automatons, terminids, or the Illuminati. It doesn't matter, it performs everywhere. But against the automatons specifically, it shines. That's why it earns the number 4 spot. We've made it to number 3, and this one is easily one of my favorite weapons to use against the automatons, the grenade launcher. This thing got one of the best glow-ups in the game. It went from a medium armor penetration to heavy armor penetration, and that single change made it 10 times more valuable. Now, it shreds. Hulks, you can drop them, War Striders, tanks, mortar emplacements, Fabricators, all of them crumble. And of course, all the smaller bot infantry, absolutely erased. What makes the grenade launcher so strong is its versatility. You got 3 full magazines, tons of rounds, and when things get chaotic, you just spam fire and watch the advancing wave disappear. It handles objectives, it handles heavy armor, and it handles swarms of automatons, and it's extremely easy to use. That heavy armor penetration buff pushed it into top tier territory for automaton missions, plus let's be honest, everyone loves explosions. Running around launching grenades into everything in your path never gets old. I used it constantly on the invasion, and when you pair it with a supply pack, it absolutely rules. Unlimited chaos, constant pressure, and obviously endless explosions. That combination alone makes it a top 3 pick for me. If you haven't tried the grenade launcher since the buff, you're missing out. Now we're at number 2, and I'll be honest, this one might be controversial. I went back and forth between number 1 and number 2 for a while, so this is my personal take. Do not hate me. At number 2, we have the recoilless rifle. If you know Helldivers, you know this weapon. This thing has been an absolute staple across all factions for a long time, and it's still one of the most dominant anti-armor stratagems in the game. The recoilless rifle is just beautiful. Yes, it comes with a backpack, yes, you have to stop the reload, but what you get in return is pure destructive power. We're talking about factories one shot if you hit it in the right spot. War Striders get deleted, Hulks, no problem, Fabricators, bulk Fabricators, crushed, mortar emplacements, gone. Anything armor that stands in front of this thing is in danger. And here's when it becomes more powerful. Teamwork. If you got multiple Helldivers running recoilless rifles, dropships don't even get a chance to unload the Automatons. Shoot the thrusters as they come in, the ships come crashing down and crushing the automaton forces underneath it. That alone can make entire missions drastically easier. It's reliable, it's consistent, it's always been relevant no matter how many new stratagems get added. Even after all the updates and new tools we've unlocked this year, the recoilless rifle is still top tier. And if you forced me to recommend just one stratagem from this entire list to bring against the automatons, this would be very high on that recommendation list. That's why it earns a number 2 spot. Now, there's only one left, and if the recoilless rifle didn't take the crown, you already know number 1 has to be insane. So, let's finish this. And finally, taking the number 1 spot on the list, the LAS 99 Quasar Cannon, or many of us call it the Queso Cannon. Now, I already know some of you are going to disagree with this being number 1, and that's okay, but hear me out. This thing just hits hard as the recoilless rifle, except it has infinite ammo. It's a charge-up energy weapon that fires a devastating burst of energy almost at no drop-off. You can snipe targets from across the map and delete them without them ever worrying about running out of rockets. Yes, there's a delay on the charge. Yes, you have to pace your shots, but once you understand the rhythm, this thing becomes unstoppable. Hulks can get one shot to the weak points, factory striders, fabricators, dropships, watch them fall straight from the sky. You can literally sit outside of a base and dismantle it piece by piece before the automatons even realize what's happening. That flexibility, that infinite ammunition is what pushed it past the recoilless rifle for me. We've come a long way since the early days of Helldivers 2. There are so many strong stratagems now, but in my personal opinion, the Quasar Cannon or the Queso Cannon is the most complete anti-automaton weapon in the game. It's reliable, it's precise, and it is honestly unlimited ammo, and that's why it takes the number 1 spot. And that right there, Helldivers, is my personal top 10 stratagems to absolutely dismantle the automaton forces. Now listen, I know this might stir up some debate. I know some of you are probably sitting there saying, Saucy, how did you not rank this higher? Or how did you forget this stratagem completely? And that's the beauty of Helldivers. There is no single perfect loadout. There are so many viable options now. The game has evolved. We've gotten buffs, nerfs, new war bonds, new stratagems, and honestly, that's what makes building loadouts so much fun. This list isn't about saying that these are the only ones you should use, or these are the best in the entire game. It's about giving you tools that, in my experience, especially during Cyberstan and Malevolent Creek, absolutely dominated the battlefield. Some of these carried me through chaotic Hulk surges, some of these saved defense missions that were seconds away from failing, and some of these just feel incredible to use. At the end of the day, that's all that matters. If it helps you spread democracy efficiently, and it feels good doing it, it's a win. Now, I genuinely want to hear from you guys. Drop your top 3 stratagems or your top 10 against the automatons in the comments. Not just the names. Tell me why. Did it clutch a mission for you guys? Did it save your squad? Did it make you feel like a one-man super destroyer? I'll be reading through as many comments as I can, and if I see some solid picks, I might even test them in the next video. And if you enjoy Helldivers content like this, breakdowns, loadouts, stratagem rankings, Cyberstan discussions, mission tips, make sure you hit that like and follow button and subscribe. It seriously helps push these videos out to more Helldivers. We're building something strong here, guys. I appreciate it. More democracy, more explosions, more oil spilled. And if you made it this far in this video, I appreciate you more than you will ever know. You're a part of the squad, and as always, I'll see you in the next drop, Helldivers. Take care, and God bless.